Good morning and welcome to day 6 of our third annual WSOP daily spaces coverage and the longest running poker space. I'm Sherry Pluskota, aka Peaches, and I'll be your host. And joining me co hosting this morning at this moment are Isaac and ASG, and of course, others will be joining us as time goes on and their schedules allow. Many thanks to Elevator Results, who has been my sponsor for a little over 2 years now. And if you need a tailor made workout plan to help you lose weight or gain weight, Elevator Results can help with that plan, designing that plan. Follow them on Twitter or check out their site at elevatorresultspt.com. You can find the recordings of my past spaces, including our WSOP coverage days and the WPT daily coverage, on my YouTube channel at Sherry Pluskota 9212. Please subscribe when you get there, it's free. Our fifth official Spaces meetup game is on June 21st at the Bellagio Poker Room at 1 p.m. It is a cash game. Um, the kind folks at the MGM properties at Bellagio, Sean McCormick and the crew are going to provide us free pizza, and they take really good care of us over there. So you don't want to miss this one. We will also have some Splash the Pot items, which we're going to get into over the next couple of weeks. It was more important, really, to get the date out than too many of the details. Um, because we want people to have time to plan, right? So there you go. That's June 21st at the Bellagio at 1 p.m. Please be reminded that we will always try to give the most updated and accurate information possible, but we are human and will make mistakes. Um, and information changes. So please make sure to double check any information we provide to ensure yourself the best experience possible. And again, correct us if you find we're disseminating information incorrectly, because we want to get it right. That's very important. Reminder, Johnson Newter's celebration of life is June 15th at 11 a.m. at the Tap House. Uh, Please also know that you have to RSVP for that so they can plan accordingly with a head count. So, um, yeah, I will post that flyer again. Ladies Week is June 22nd through the 28th. Should be a fun time. Isaac, give us a little promo on your one shot.
Yes, indeed. The GBG One Shot is our proprietary satellite to the WSOP. It is a $600 seat, 27 player, one game satellite. We are currently about halfway through our mints for that. The game will be held somewhere around end of the first week, beginning of the second week of June. Depends on when our end tally date comes about. It is a 21K starting stack, 1 hour late registration, no limit hold'em game. We not sure completely if it's going to be a freeze out yet. We will find that out once we come to tally date and we do a poll to all the holders to see what they want to opt to do. Outside of that, the prize is a 10K seat to the WSOP main event, plus accommodations. Um, it's either that, or if you cannot attend the WSOP or you're not planning to come to Vegas, you can do a final table chop where the final nine will receive a payout, with obviously first place taking the lion's share. And that's GVG
Awesome.
One Shop. If anybody wants any more information, you can either DM myself or you can follow Green Visor Gang, whose profile is conveniently placed right next to ASG. You can hop in our Discord and you can ask any questions, open up a ticket, or just hop in the general chat and ask, and we'll be there to help you.
Love that. Thank you for the update, and definitely, uh, give Isaac and the Green Visor Gang a follow. I see D-Man's down there. Scratch, give them all a follow so you can make sure you get the updated information from the Green Visor Gang and what they have going on. They're always up to something fun, bringing the NFT world and the poker world together, and I love that. Um, Let me see. Don't forget to take pictures so that you can find your way to your car after a long day of playing poker. Take a picture of your car when you arrive, where it's parked, what floor are you on. Also, be sure to take a picture of your chip stack when you leave the table because sometimes when they're chipping up, you come back from break and you're like, wait, I thought I had this amount of chips and, I'm shorted. And if you have a picture, then you have proof of what your chip stack was like. And I'll be honest with you, I kind of spread mine out so that there's no doubt as to how many chips there are in my stack. So take that picture. And the last picture I would recommend is your table number. When you leave the table, don't take a picture of the dealer, take a picture of the table number. And yes, the WSOP Plus app has your table number in it, but guess what? Something goes down with that app and you can't remember what table you're at, you're going to be searching, right? So just take a picture of your table number. Play, it's kind of easy, thing. And I'm a proactive person. So there you go. Reminder the Chess Festival is in Vegas June 6th through June 8th. Now let's get into a couple of things before we get into the schedules for the day, shall we? Um, ASG, how are you this morning?
Doing okay, just trying to get updated on if anything happened while I was asleep, etc.
Well, I wish I had slept last night. The girls went out. So Sherry is on the struggle bus this morning because the girls didn't get home until the wee hours. And I was like, oh, shit, we got the daily show in the morning. I just shot myself in the foot. But here we are. The good news is I can go take a nap before the baseball and softball games come on. Um, I want to touch on on the fact that we talked about Jeannie David had tweeted the other day about the Nugget changing their um, chip stack sizes because they had some overlays, right? And so, and as well as some of the guarantees. But I just wanted to make sure everybody knew that the Golden Nugget changed back now. They changed their mind for changing their mind. So they're going back to the original starting stacks that they listed in the previous schedule. Now, just let's recap. They put out a schedule, they changed it. Then they put out another schedule with changes. We're going back to that second schedule, not the original one, but the second schedule, the one right before the one we have now. So
I,
they're going back to the 30K starting stacks. Go ahead,
yeah,
ASG.
I think they never, or at least they say they never intended to change the starting stacks. I think they were just trying to mess with the guarantees, and then I don't know what happened with the starting stack. Seems to be what they're saying.
Yeah. And honestly, you know what? When you're in the business of running these tournaments and you see overlays, I would imagine you start to panic, right? Like, this is my job at stake here. So, I'm sure they were trying to scramble and problem solve so they can continue the series and, make some tweaks and changes that would help not only the players, but themselves, right?
And
And
ideally, if you crush the previous guarantee that you had originally, then it doesn't matter. It's only if you kept getting the overlays that matter that you lower your guarantees. Otherwise, it's the same tournament if the guarantees
right on.
get get hit.
That's right. And so, kudos to them to listen to their players and reevaluate and go back to the schedule prior to the one that was put out last. So, I don't know if they've put out yet another updated one or they're just saying refer back to the other one. I don't know. But anyway, if you're going to the Orleans, double check what they have going on so that you're well informed for sure. I see DMC's in the audience. He won a main event seat. If he wants to come up and tell us about it, that'd be great. Um, Also, I wanted to mention that some of the folks from Spaces, some of our space cadets that are in Vegas playing right now, are Barry Levy, Reno Grinder, Ruben, and Todd Rizzo. Of course, we'd love to hear from anybody that's out there playing, how it's going, and keep us updated on what you're playing and whether it's cash or tournaments. We'd love to hear about it. Um, don't forget, free parking at Resorts World starts this week and goes through August 28th. And that's going to kick off my discussion about parking deck wars. Did anybody besides me see Shannon Shore's tweet about the parking deck situation? I'm going to pull up his tweet. Give me a second to get
Yeah,
there.
no problem. Go right ahead, Sherry. Go right ahead.
He says, okay, what's the secret to getting out of the first floor parking deck at Horseshoe? I swiped the WSOP VIP parking pass, Diamond Elite card, local ID, nothing works. Have to call them each time. Was unsurprisingly to see someone had already plowed through the barricade on day one, hashtag WSOP. And then Big Hoonie replies with, my card does nothing ever when trying to swipe to get in. Have to take a ticket, and call on my way out. Day before yesterday, it took 7 minutes before they answered the call. Me and everyone else in line behind me. Um, were let's see, everyone in the let me get back. Me and everyone else in line behind me were losing our minds. It's ridiculous that all these after all these problems. So parking deck wars at the Horseshoe. Maybe this will get them to go with free parking. What do you guys think?
I think they need to like just do a small demo of that parking lot because it's one of the wildest things. Them and I mean, well, Bellagio's got it looks a little nicer, it feels a little smoother, but at Horseshoe, the fact they're charging $20 to park there, nah, not it. Especially
Well,
that it never works. It never
right.
works.
I've run into that over at the Excalibur. I like to go eat at the Italian restaurant there. And so I'll have friends meet me and we'll go, and we get stuck in that damn parking lot every time putting our cards in. There's like five of us in the car. We're trying all of our MGM cards because we're supposed to, we all qualify for free parking, but of course our cards never freaking work. And I guess that's what's going on at the Horseshoe right now. So you guys just beware of that when you go to park there. Try not to let it frustrate you because, you want to have a clear mind for poker, and, getting frustrated in the parking lot is not where it's at.
You know what I don't know about their parking is okay, if you get that pass that I've heard about, see, most of the time if I have a room there, that works, right?
Right,
The room key works,
right.
but not the actual parking pass if that's different.
Well, yeah. I,
And
I, yeah.
Bathwater put a hilarious gif in the chat. Exactly, Bathwater, exactly.
Speaking of the Horseshoe, just a little hint, if any of you are like hotties, like when you're in your hotel room at the Horseshoe, you can only turn down that air conditioner so far. I think it's like 67 or 68 degrees. And then there's like the stupid econ, you know, um, go green um, settings that you can't lower the air conditioner anymore. Well, if you go on to Rigby's Twitter account, he actually videoed himself in a Horseshoe room giving you the cheat code to thermostat. So just a little FYI, if you need the cheat code to the Horseshoe thermostat in your room, go check out what his video tells you to do.
Now that's a real valuable hack right there
Hell yeah, it is.
because
Trust me.
they've been capping all those thermostats.
Well, and it's so hot. It would be, you know, like, can you just make it like, if it's at 68, can you just make it like 66, maybe even? Or, it just is hot. Like, I'm always hot in my room. It doesn't matter. So, the first thing I do when I go into a hotel room, I turn my thermostat to the lowest it'll go because I'd
Yeah,
rather be freezing than hot.
amen.
So, that's where I'm at with all that.
Yeah, I run hot by nature, so we ain't doing none of that.
Yeah. Yeah, and I have asthma, so it's easier for me to breathe when it's a little cooler. But anyway, ASG, anything on the thermostat hack or the parking wars?
Well, I haven't seen the thermostat hack, so I can't comment on whether or not it's a good idea on publicizing that for what rules the hotel might have and whether or not you'd be breaking them.
Oh, he's taken the high road. I like it, ASG. Let's just say allegedly. How about that? I'll let you know if it works, though, whenever I stay there. The next
Now,
time I
now, now
stay there.
there's a good one. There's a good one, Sherry, for future days. What hotel has the best AC?
Right?
That is important information.
I like it. I like it. Put your submissions in the chat, people. We could start that list now. That's for sure. Anybody see Brandon around? He was supposed to come give us some information on the sphere. We may have to redelegate that.
Yeah, we may have to. I could probably get the information together on the sphere.
All right.
Not a
We would
problem.
love to know like cost to build it, if there's any like folklore stories around it, if
Oh,
cost, how
I'm
like the
sure there's
time.
some folklore for sure because every casino and every mall has a dirty history when it comes to how they get
Exactly.
built.
Exactly my point. You know what it is, any details, how many screens it takes, or I don't know, whatever the technology is, you know, we want the whole kit and caboodle. And I kind of heard it through the grapevine yesterday that Zach Brown Band is going to be in residency there,
Interesting.
which
I
I
know. I
love
know the
that.
Dead and Company just took up a residency, and somebody else was supposed to. Some big band.
Well, and I'm going to tell you something. I'm going to definitely try to get tickets for the Eagles when I'm there the day of. Tickets, of course, I can't spend $500 on a ticket, so I'm hoping I can get one for $250 if I purchase it on the day of. Fingers crossed.
Oh yeah, definitely,
I
definitely. You might
love
be
the
able to catch a
Eagles.
scalper. You know.
I love the Eagles. I want to see that show so badly at the Sphere. So anyway, here we are. All right, let's talk about Martin Kabrhal, shall we?
Oh yeah, there's a few things. Also, event number 3, that final 3.
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah.
I want to call it Tank Fest.
I didn't watch it. The girls were out last night, but I've been seeing a lot of murmuring about it, and people are like, "This shit is worse than paint drying."
Listen, like 6-minute tanks, nobody calling time.
So ridiculous.
Like I was like, okay, I get it, but like, are you literally going through like pages and pages of of
And
Johnson Brand?
honestly, doesn't that right there prove to you that we need to do shot clocks?
I mean, yeah, because
It's so
how is
ridiculous.
it one guy has a 10-second clock for the rest of the series, right? But
Right.
these guys, every one of them was tanking for minutes at a
Well, and let
time.
me ask you this. It was brought up the other day about the what we could do for to make poker, go more mainstream. And people were talking about, "Oh, we got to get back on ESPN." I agree, but do you think ESPN is going to waste sponsorship dollars to watch these fools tanking like this at a final table?
Well,
I
once
don't
it's
think
on
so.
ESPN, it would be the edited shows. So, yeah, that
Well, I
used
mean,
Yeah,
to
when
but
they
be.
used to do it in the 2000s, right?
but even still with the edited shows, you're still it's taking too long.
No, I'm saying they would edit out all the tanking. So,
I know, but it's still taking too long, even with the edited shows.
Sherry's saying that no matter how you look at it, this final table was like 90% tanking and like 10% poker.
well, I'm
Exactly. They're
saying,
going
and
to
if
have
it's
to
edited,
show
it
that
would
it's
just
so.
get shorter. I mean, like that's the whole point of
Yeah.
editing.
And well, of course it is. But my point is because there's so much of it, they're going to have to keep some of it in there to show exactly what the hell's going on at that final
Well,
table.
I remember the because I've been watching a bunch of the 2000s WSOP final tables. Like their production value was pretty sick. They always
Absolutely.
had like an interview in
Hell
between
yeah.
or something, but
They
they
tell
kept
you
those
about the
tables moving.
people.
They kept those tables moving though.
Yeah, but people weren't taken for 6 minutes each. I mean, and they have to. So the audience gets the full blown effect of what's actually going on at that table, they're going to have to show some of that. You're
No,
going to edit
remember when
it, some
Woka
of it
Soup was
out,
on?
but you are
They
also going to
edited.
show some of it.
Remember when Woka Soup was on ESPN? They made it look like he wasn't really doing anything.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's not a table full of them.
Well, I mean, I didn't, up until the last three, that's when it started getting like out of hand,
Yeah, yeah,
ridiculously slow, right?
yeah.
And then finally, when it got up to like the heads up, I felt like it started moving again. But when it was the final three, those three dudes were just, it was wild.
And if you want the audience to truly have the experience, then you have to show some of that because the audience is never going to get the full psychological part of what's happening at that table without showing it. Go ahead, Valerie.
I smell a Netflix docu-series.
On how not to tank at a final table.
Well, no, just building more. Because when I was younger, like I knew about the poker players. I looked up to them. I knew who was popular. You know what I mean? So, like getting more of that identity in there where the public gets to know them. Like, I love fast cars, but I didn't really get into Formula One until they started the docu-series.
Right, right. And most people will probably agree that once a poker movie comes out, or, there have been some poker, some really good poker content excuse me, of a player's journey through the WSOP or journey through their poker life, whatever. Every time something like that comes out, it definitely spikes viewership, right? And sparks the interest and fires people up. Rounders. I mean, people still talk about that movie and how it lit the fire for people and got people more excited about poker. So definitely a docu series would definitely kick it in the butt and get it moving again for sure with excitement. No doubt about it. So, what do we think about Kabrhil's clock being shortened to 10 seconds? Do we think that's a good thing? It should be done. It shouldn't be done. Other
I,
things
I
should be
mean, it
done. What
sounds
do you
like
think?
they were trying not to kick him out, so they had to do something because at the same time, right? Like if you, I don't know if this exists in the WSOP rules as a whole, but it's like if you violate the rules a certain amount of times, what else can they do to you, right? Like what
Well, and
exists?
did he get any rounds of penalty? Are there any rules in place for rounds of penalty in this case? I don't even know.
Yeah, like when it comes to shot
I
clock violations, I'm not sure at all.
and they're not even violations. Like I've never seen anybody actually punished for it because there's no rule that anybody has ever enforced for how long it takes to play, and even for like calling clock, all that happens is they call clock. You have that many seconds to act, and if you don't
Right.
act, your hand is dead. It's not anything about breaking a rule. You know.
And see, Isaac, right here is a perfect example of something I would go to the TDA
Yep.
rules and look through to see exactly what timing, rules and whatever are in place, and see what would need to be tweaked or changed. Because I do think it needs to be addressed. And
I think
honestly,
I
the
think you're
quick
right
answer is shot clock.
because the rule regarding I don't know it exactly by heart, but I do recall that it has to do with you have a logical amount of time to
Right.
make a call,
I thought,
but it's like
and
defining
wasn't the
logical is the problem now.
But wasn't the rule of thumb like 2 minutes? Like you had
Yes,
two, I
yes.
think the rule of thumb was 2 minutes, and then someone should think about
And then
calling a
someone
clock,
calls
so to
Oh,
floor,
speak.
I
and they
never
give you
heard of
like
that.
30 seconds or something like that, right?
Yeah, I think the rule of thumb was 2 minutes.
Oh, I never heard of that rule of thumb before. In my head,
I'm not saying it's in the rule book.
yeah.
Now, don't
No.
don't
I meant in
misunderstand.
terms of rule of thumb. I've never heard of that
Yeah.
rule of thumb before. In my opinion, I've always gone with it gets multiplied based on how large the bet is in front of you. Um,
Oh, I've never heard that.
No, I'm saying
Interesting.
my head. That's how I would do it. Like,
Oh,
Right,
like
because if you're like at a TV table, final table, or big table, it's like you got huge decisions to make, right?
exactly. If you have
Wh-
all,
wh-
like, if
Which
you're
I
deciding
understood
for
last
all
night
in,
about the
it's
final
different than
three.
pre-flop.
yeah, but you can't know what somebody's thinking and if it's a big decision for them or not. So you can't even base it on that. I don't think.
No, but I'm
Yeah,
saying
no,
like pre-flop is different than if you got an all in to you on the river. Like, you,
yeah, that's
you,
true too. That's true too. But see, again, this is why, like, okay, I remember this in the WSOP dailies I would play. There would always be that one guy, right? That either there's the guy who calls time on everybody too early, or the guy who takes too fucking long to make decisions
Right,
every hand. And every time the
right,
floor was called up, I kept hearing, "Listen, it's a reasonable amount of time." And then he'll tell him, "You know what, buddy? I've gotten too many complaints about you. I'm gonna stand here. You got 30 seconds."
right. And honestly, the rule of thumb, I've that's been my impression, my understanding for decades. That it's like
well,
2 minutes, and then after 2 minutes, it's perfectly okay for you to call a
oh my
clock
god,
over
if
to them.
anybody was taking 2 minutes every hand, I would be fucking going out of my mind.
Well, me too, but here we have 6 minutes and it's, on TV for 6 minutes on a live feed. I mean, honestly, like how horrible is this, for the viewer?
Oh yeah,
Come on,
for the
people.
viewer, and if you're at the table, every
Holy
10 seconds
shit.
feels like a minute. If you're not in the hand, I'll tell you that much.
Okay, so I'm going to go around the horn. If anyone else wants to come up, ask for a microphone. What do you think the solution should be, ASG, for the Martin Cabral? Let's
Oh,
call it the Martin Cabral issue.
well, not Martin to the final table issue. I think last three tables, once they same way with they take away the phones, they should put in the shot clocks. That
I
way,
agree.
I think it. I can understand that it might be unreasonable for hundreds and however many tables, but let's say final three tables, we'll put in the shot clocks. Um, as for Martin, I mean, they did what they did with you keep getting it called on you, then it just goes straight to you have basically your own personal shot clock. um, it, if it comes up too often.
Okay, so now Cabral is going into the next day in this tournament he's in, and of course he's up for a bracelet. So what if he, you know, like okay, now he has a 10-second shot clock. Okay, so now what's the next penalty if you know, like is there another step to this? I mean, like
No,
what
no,
happens
it's
today?
you have 10 seconds to act. If you don't act in 10 seconds, your hand's dead. That's what the shot clock means.
Of course it does, but I'm saying to you, as we know, Cabral likes to push the envelope, right?
He's a troll.
And
He's a troll for sure.
yeah, and he's a. So then, what's the penalty going to be today if he's acting up? I'm
A
just
penalty
curious
for
to
what?
see.
I don't think there's a penalty beyond what they've already done. I think that he exhausted probably the entire situation's patience with that, because I've never heard of somebody that has their own clock. And this guy has his own 10-second clock because he had to really push that issue.
Look, Matt Savage is running around today trying to think of what the solution is, and we all know it's shot clock, right? Uh,
I mean,
oh
if they
God,
introduce like a chess clock, right, which I've heard is happening in
yeah,
certain
yeah,
tables, right? I've been hearing whispers of this about
yeah.
chess.
That's the shot clock.
Yeah,
That's the shot
like
clock.
the
Yeah,
actual boom, go.
yeah,
That's crazy. That's
yeah.
crazy.
A lot. They use that a lot over in Europe. The shot
Oh, I'm
clocks.
sure. I'm sure.
Yeah, for sure. Doesn't WPT use shot clocks? Or am I making that
I
shit
want
up?
to say they do.
The high rollers used
Yeah.
shot clocks more often. A lot of times with the lower buy-ins, they don't have the finances to have a shot clock once you add too many tables. So
We can't afford a shot clock, but we're going to put an iPad at every table.
Listen, I'm gonna get the guy who busts out first, and we're giving him a fucking stopwatch. Let's go.
Oh, but you have to have two separate ones, a Cabral stopwatch.
Exactly. Exactly.
for everybody else. Oh my God. All right, you guys,
Didn't
let's.
they accuse him of marking cards?
That was the last year. Yeah.
It's always something.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
He's
then
a
they did a whole
character.
investigation and they found out there was nothing. So,
Yep.
that's the other thing is the
Ah, you gotta love it. You really gotta love it.
Kabrhal. You just can't wait to see what he's going to do next and what the penalty is going to be for what he does. At least that's what I'm saying. I'm sticking to it. That's my story. I'm sticking to it. All right, let's take a look at what's happening in poker around Vegas. Isaac, you want to start us off, bud?
Yeah, sure. Here, let me see. I was already starting to put together the thing for the sphere. Give me one moment.
I love it.
All right, so let's get started with our usuals. First, we'll start off at the Westgate. The Westgate offers a variety of poker tournaments. 12 p.m. and 3 p.m. There's a $45 buy-in no limit hold'em tournament. 7 p.m. a $65 buy-in no limit hold'em tournament. 9 p.m. a $60 buy-in no limit hold'em tournament. Additionally, they host a 3 p.m. lazy pineapple tournament. Sherry has actually gone and conquered that mountain, and Sherry can tell you how much fun that was, right, Sher?
It was so much fun. Honestly, I had no idea what it was. I asked when I signed in, I asked them to explain to me how to play it. They did, and I took that shit down, and it was fun.
That's right. That's right. We love to hear it. Next up, we got Planet Hollywood. Planet Hollywood conducts 4 daily No Limit Hold'em tournaments at 10 a.m., 2 p.m., 6 p.m., and 10 p.m. Each tournament has a $100 buy-in and offers a starting stack of 20K chips. And then these are all held in a dedicated tournament area separate from the main poker room. Next up, we have Red Rock Casino. Red Rock hosts their daily no limit hold'em tournaments at 10:35 a.m. Now the buy-in differs by date of the week. Monday to Thursday, it's a $125 buy-in. Friday to Sunday, it's a $150 buy-in, and each tournament offers a starting stack of 25K chips.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Moving on over to South Point. Today at 10:10 is their no limit tournament. It's a $120 buy-in, 10K guarantee. At 2:10 p.m. is their turbo bounty. It's a $120 buy-in, 5K guarantee. At 6:10 p.m. is their $180 buy-in, and it is a bounty tournament, $50 bounties, 10K guarantee. At 10:10 p.m. is my favorite tournament over there is the turbo bounty. It's a $120 buy-in, 3K guarantee. Be reminded that their midsummer series starts on June the 16th at 10:10 a.m. and 6:10 p.m. will be flights 1A and 1B. That is a $200,000 guarantee and a $300 buy-in over at South Point. That is their summer series. Now let's look over if I could change the page, over at Caesar's Palace at 10 a.m. and 6 p.m. is their $120 tournament. It has a $50 add on, 15K starting stack, 20-minute blinds, 1K guarantee. At 2 p.m. and 9 p.m. is their $160 buy in, $50 add on, 20K starting stack, 20-minute blinds, 2K guarantee. Over at Resorts World at 12:05 and 7:05 p.m. It is their $200 no limit 25K starting stack event, 30-minute blinds, 3K guarantee. Moving right along, we're going to move on to the Win has an 11 o'clock no limit tournament. It is their flight 1E and it's $1,100 buy-in, $1.5 million guarantee, and flight 1F to that tournament is at 1900 hours. That's over at the Win. The Venetian has an 11:10 a.m. tournament. It's a no limit tournament, $600 buy-in, 50K guarantee, and at 12:10 p.m. is their PLO tournament, $600 buy-in, 30K guarantee, and also at 1400 hours over at the Venetian is their day two of their '08 tournament. Now, I have it on this list that there's nothing at the Aria today. So ASG, could you look that up real quick and double check that? What's going on at the ARIA today, please? I'm sure they have something. Over at the MGM Grand today at 10 o'clock is their no limit tournament. $250 buy-in 10K guarantee. At 1400 hours is their '08 tournament. $600 buy-in 40K guarantee. At 1800 hours is their bounty tournament. It's a $250 buy-in, 10K guarantee, and it is has $50 bounties. 2100 hours is their no limit tournament, $150 buy-in, 3K guarantee. Go ahead, Isaac.
Really quick, just I want to give a shout out to South Point for having some of the best comps if you're playing on their poker tables. Mac reminded me, and I know we talked about this before, but I love to remind people if you play at South Point and if you're playing on the actual casino tables, you can request a whole lot of stuff besides just alcohol or soft drinks and whatnot. You can request a pack of cigarettes, right? If you are at a table, and they will bring it to you. Also, if you're playing at the tables, you can request a buffet certificate and they will hook you up. Now, these things have been verified and checked and tested multiple times by the Green Visor Gang. So, this is a Green Visor Gang certified Vegas love spot. I don't
Love
know
it.
any other places that do this. So, I hope
I
we can
don't either.
discover them.
Yeah, I don't either. And that is a great tip for sure. And South Point, they definitely know how to take care of their customers. And no matter what time of day or night, if whether I'm staying there or not, I've always had very good results and very good, hospitality given for sure. Okay. Oh, ASG is having issues. Hold on. Okay, over at the Orleans today at 11 o'clock is their horse tournament. $600 buy-in, 50K guarantee. At 1600 hours is their survivor tournament, and that is a $230 buy-in, 15K guarantee. At 6 p.m. is their no limit tournament, a $200 buy-in, $15,000 guarantee. And at 2200 hours is a survivor $125 tournament with a $1,500 guarantee. Over at the Golden Nugget, and I'm not going to read the guarantees because they're just, yeah, I'm just not. 11 o'clock is the no limit. It's a $400 buy-in. At 1600 hours is the no limit tournament. It's a $120 buy-in. At 1700 hours is a no mix tournament, which on their original schedule was a big O tournament, but they changed it to a no mix. That's a $250 buy in. At 1800 hours is their no limit $200 buy in tournament. So that's what's going on around town. Now let's get on over to the WSOP, shall we? A lot happened yesterday.
So
Lots of
wait,
good
before we
poker.
get to
Go
the
ahead,
W,
ASG. Yes,
yeah,
sir.
since you asked, the Aria has at 11 o'clock they have an $1,100 buy-in, 200K guarantee.
Thank you. I don't know why on Kenny's thing it wasn't listed. Um, it may have been when he was still updating at the very beginning because I grabbed that data really early on, so that could be the reason. But thank you for looking that up for us. Yesterday, event number one, the Mystery Millions, broke more records at Flight 1E, had 8,118 runners, with 450 moving on to today. That's a hell of a lot of runners. Okay, so there in that prize pool is over $18 million. There are there were 19,654 runners and 1,045 move on to day two today. 1,500 places are going to get paid. Wow, wow, wow. What a record setting. And people were trying to stir the pot that, oh, people aren't going to the WSOP because of this and that, politically motivated stuff. And look at here, event number one has broken all records already. So, uh, guess what? It's going to be a great summer, folks. Big prize pools. Okay, so chip leader going into today. Craig Mason has 7.5 million in chips, and he's from the United States. Mauricio Solano is also from the United States, and he has the second biggest chip stack with 6.4 million. And Clark Merritt has 4.5 million in his stack. He is also from the USA, and he is moving on to day 2 is at 11 o'clock today. Mel, I'm going to send you a microphone if you want to come up and give us an update on what you're doing and your Vegas poker. If not, no problem. Event number 5 was day 3 yesterday, and we crowned a winner. Caleb Firth was actually down to one chip yesterday and came back and won that 5K pot limit Omaha event. And he took home a cool $620,000. How amazing is that?
Chip in the chair.
A chip in a chair. And I'm going to stop for a minute because if Mel's trying to get out the door to go play, I don't want to hold her up. Hey, Mel, how are you?
Hey, Sherry, I'm great. Good morning. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. I'm so glad you joined us. Tell us, are you playing today? Have you played yet? What's going on?
Yeah, no, thank you for having me. Yeah, I played the mystery yesterday, did not cash it. So this is gonna be, I'm gonna play the deep stack, the 600 deep stack today. But I gotta say, I like the app. It's especially with like the rebuys and everything. You remember those lines snaking around the room waiting to get in.
Yes, I
You don't,
hated that line.
yeah, you don't have those anymore. I mean, people were still um you wait on your phone. You can wait wherever you want. It's
Right.
interesting.
And so from the time you register, or like what is the time between registering and getting your seat assignment if you're in the room or in the hall?
I got it like, well, I just registered right when I got to the Paris, and I got my C assignment like right then.
Nice.
Yeah. So you
Nice.
just literally walk to the table. Well, assuming you have to get verified and all that stuff, but you
Right.
literally walk straight to the table. It's very easy.
Awesome. Now, have you been updating your chip stack on the app as you've been playing or no?
So yesterday there were so many people, like that the dealer back. There's a way that we can do it on the app, but I think the app just, there's like a record number of people in this flight.
Right.
And yeah, the app wasn't letting me update anything.
Okay. So
So
they
yeah, so maybe
probably have,
today will be different. I don't know, because I don't know how many people are going to be in this one. This is a 600, but maybe a lot of people. I don't know, but yeah, you can, but it doesn't always work.
got it. Well, and it's the bugs they have to fix, and I'm sure they're probably scrambling around to add more bandwidth because so many people are accessing the internet now because of the app that they may not normally sit at a table and do anything. Now they feel the need to maybe put that chip stack size in or whatever. So I'm sure the IT folks are scrambling around. So what else? What else is on your schedule after this $600 buy-in tournament?
After 600, this is kind of a busy week. We'll see how this goes. We got the six max tomorrow.
Nice.
And then maybe the shootout. So we'll see.
Well, I'm a little bit upset right now because before I left home to come here to Washington State to be with my kids, this is like going on week 2. Um, I had went to Chicago for a funeral, and on my way home, one of my credit cards got, you know, compromised. And then while I was home, I gave my husband my other credit card to use in the Uber app because, he needed to go to the airport while I was gone. And within 30 seconds of him putting my credit card in that Uber app, I got a notification from my bank that somebody was charging on that card. And so that one had to be stopped. So I've been without credit cards for the last 2 weeks, right?
Wow.
So now my credit cards have come in. My son shipped them to me from Georgia. And so I tried to go on to Poker Stake because I literally spent whatever I had on there to get some, staking this summer. but there's still a little bit more I wanted to do. So I wanted to upload a couple $100. I can't figure out how to put a new credit card in.
Yeah.
Like, how do you put it? I have no idea. So today I'm going to get my daughter to look at it because maybe I'm just needing another fresh set of eyes, younger eyes, as they say.
Yeah.
I, I can't figure out how to put in another credit card. When you go to my account and then you press like credit card and the amount you want to put in, it's just going to the default credit card. It doesn't give you an option to add another credit card.
Oh,
So
how strange.
anyway,
I know there's a way to do it, and I'm going to have to be on a laptop and not your phone
oh, maybe,
because I
maybe,
think somebody else is having this issue, and I don't remember. I think you have to like push edit when you're in that screen, and I don't know if
maybe
you
I
could
have
see
to
that
be.
button on your phone.
You can't. There's no edit button whatsoever. There is nothing, literally. And
Yeah.
so maybe I do need to. I didn't think about being on my PC, obviously. Okay, we will try that today. Isaac, did you have something to comment on that?
Yeah, I was looking it up actually, and it says that you need to navigate to the staking page and click the deposit button, then follow the prompts to enter your credit card details and confirm
Yeah,
your
but
purchase.
I
That
did
sounds
that. It won't
initial.
let me put a new credit
Yeah, that
card
sounds
in.
initial. That doesn't sound like changing
Yeah,
or adding.
yeah.
So, and
That's what I
that's
was
from
trying to do. I was trying to make a deposit yesterday, so I just did exactly what you just said, but it doesn't give me an option to add one. It just defaults to the one that's already there, which is compromised.
one
So
thing
Can you
you
anyway,
make
actually
the
can remove.
deposits in
Was it?
person?
no, no, it's definitely an app, a staking app, and the reason I'm bringing this up, Mel, is because I want to stake you this week, and I'm like,
Uh,
dang, I think I have like $7 on my account, but anyway, um,
Back channel
good
staking.
luck.
Back channel staking.
Yes, right. Maybe that's the answer to Isaac.
Thank you. That's very nice of you. Well, I listed some. I felt flattered because I listed some. I wasn't sure I was going to play this event, so I literally listed 2 bullets at like 4 in the morning, and I woke up and it was sold out. So I'm very blessed. So thank you to all the stakers and stuff. But
Well,
hopefully we'll
you
get a
bet.
cash here. Hopefully we'll
Well,
have a
you
good day.
bet. And you know what? Just for those that may not know Mel, she has been on a roll. She's not even played for very long, just a couple of years. And she takes her poker very seriously and has been hitting the ground running this spring, doing very well. And people know who've been around know that I've been recommending her for staking. And I see Kathy Chang has joined us. I've staked her too on the poker stake website. These two ladies are hardworking poker players, and Mel and Kathy have both made me a little money on that app. So, just an FYI, people. And I'm going to shoot myself later for saying this because what's going to happen is everybody's going to go purchase your staking, and then when I get on there, it's all going to be eaten up because we've been advertising it.
Well, I hope not. But if you have problems with your card, send that email. Send them an email. I think they're pretty
I
responsive,
will.
actually. Yeah.
I will. I definitely were going to go on my PC. And honestly, even though I spent a little time on it yesterday, I can't say I spent a lot of time on it. And I really thought I'd get my daughter to look at it. But I think I'm going to look at the PC option first because I think that's probably the key to success. So you're all moved into Vegas, Mel, and playing poker. And how does it feel?
Oh, it's good. I'm really excited. It's great. It's great. Got a lot of
Are you
long
go
summer
ahead?
ahead.
Are you playing anywhere besides the WSOP?
Yeah, I'll play some events at the Win. And there's random stuff around town. Like if I have a break for a day, I might go play one of those Aria 1 days or something like that. You know.
Right, right,
So
right.
mostly WSOP and Win. But and there's a ladies high roller Friday. I think it's this Friday at the Win. So I'll play that.
There is. Do you know that there's a satellite into that?
There's a satellite. I know there's one the night before. Is there another one? Is there like some kind of online
No,
thing or something?
no. It's the night before, 7 p.m. on Thursday night at the Win is a $400 satellite. And hold on, let me. I actually had this on my list to talk about today. And they have 5 seat guarantee.
Yeah, so that'll be great. So hopefully
Yep.
hopefully some ladies see that and come out and play that. Um So it'll be interesting to see. I think this is the first time, to my knowledge, somebody's done an event like this. So it'll be interesting to see how it goes.
It is the first time, and the biggest buy-in amount. So, for those that are curious as to why we're saying it's the first time, it's because the buy-in amount. It's a ladies high roller. It's a 5K buy-in, and you can play that satellite Thursday night at 7 at the Win, a $400 buy-in, and 5 seat guarantee, which is really great value. Go ahead, Isaac.
Really quick, I was asked by Valerie if anybody has a referral link for Stake Kings or Poker Stake, whichever site you're using, so that she can sign up.
If you
Oh,
For Poker Stake, I'm not on Stake Kings. For Poker Stake, if you go to like my Twitter, or I'm sure you can do this with Kathy too. Kathy's on as well. If you go to my Twitter, or X, whatever it's called, click my page. There'll be somewhere near the top of it that has like a place to click on a link to stake, and that'll at least get you to the site. And then you can like deposit money and stake whoever you want. But that'll get you to the site.
Awesome.
well, and if there's a referral, you could put my name in there, just saying. But anyway,
That's why we asking. That's why we asking.
I don't know if there is or isn't, so I'm just yanking everybody's chain. But I won't be offended, people. I will not be offended, because you know what I win, I'm always putting back into the community with the meetup games. So anyway, um, what else you gonna tell us? How are you preparing, Mel? Like, you doing yoga? Are you doing hot exercise, hiking? Are you just watching some Netflix? What are you doing to prepare?
You know, I just if I bust early, I just go home, watch a video, and then in the morning try to take a walk with my dog. You know, get out pretty early if I wake up. Although I guess as the series goes on, I'm probably gonna wake up later, and that's okay. But yeah, so walk the dog today. Got some fresh air, got some sunshine. Starting to get a little bit hot in Vegas, which is nice. I love the heat. And just try to do some stretching. You know, I think stretching is really important because you're sitting there for such a long time. But I just I try to
Right.
do some stretching.
And tell me, do you park at the Horseshoe or Paris?
I don't really park on the strip. I take an Uber because I don't like
Uh,
driving. But
okay.
I heard there's some
Oh,
issues with getting out when you park for sure.
yes. I was going to ask you if you had any issues with getting out of the parking lot, or did you just plow through the
Yeah,
gate?
I plowed right through the gate without my car, so I have no idea what to do.
She said, I just walked out the gate. Screw those cars.
Exactly.
I'm taking Uber. Oh, yeah. I just, parking lot wars. And guess what? If they made it free of charge, you wouldn't have to have a gate or a card or a machine or anything,
Right,
right?
right.
Just make it free,
Make it
people.
free.
Come on.
Re-
Make it free.
Resorts World is free now. You heard this, right?
Yes, it starts this week. I think on the third or
I think
fourth, it
I
starts
think it
being
started
free.
early. Somebody told me it started yesterday, but I'm not sure. I haven't been
Oh,
over there.
so maybe they changed. Okay, because on their postings, they've actually had, like, I think June or third or fourth on it, but whatever. And it goes through August, so that's a great thing. I've not played over there, but I hear good things about that poker room for sure. Can you give us any recommendations for food choices while playing the WSOP?
Food choices like on dinner break or like just
Yeah,
in general?
yeah,
Um, like on dinner break, there's a really good I don't know what it's called. It's like a shawarma place. It's out in front. Now I'll say this and everybody will go, but that's okay. It's out in front of the horseshoe. You know, you walk down that walkway
right.
and it's
Yep.
kind of almost to the like if you're turning right to go to the Cromwell, it's almost like on that corner. Um,
So right by Giordano's.
yeah, but further out toward the street.
Right, right.
Yeah, so there's that. But the dinner breaks are so long this year. I think they're like 75 minutes. So you really have time. Like if you just want to go to one of these restaurants, even in the horseshoe, I think you have time to eat because it's like 75 minutes.
And I'm just going to tell people my biggest hack is doing a to go order and putting it in about 15 minutes before the dinner
Yeah.
break. And then on the dinner break, I have to walk somewhere to go pick it up. So I'm getting a little exercise, getting the blood pumping. go pick it up, and then you have time to sit down and eat a good hot meal or cold meal, whatever you
Oh,
order.
totally. And I know some people like run to Chipotle, which is, I guess, in Planet Hollywood. I mean, you have time to go over there. There's a Chick-fil-A over there. There's stuff, and I think there's a Gordon Ramsay burger over there too. So it's like right next door,
Yeah,
literally. So all the things.
right on. Right on. Well, anything else you want to share with us? Or are you going to just hang out for a few?
No, I'm actually getting ready to bail out the door. I just want to stop in and say hi. Yeah.
Glad you did. Appreciate you. Good luck, Mel.
Thank you. Thank you guys for having me. Good luck, everyone.
Thank you. Good luck, Mel. And if you missed our interview with her, it's on my YouTube channel. She's such a delight, and she's been killing it on the felt. Go ahead, ASG.
Yeah, I wouldn't necessarily call this the best option, but people have been saying if you wake up early and your event hasn't started for a bit, maybe or maybe you've just waken up early to listen to this. Uh, this year, Guy Fieri is having an all-you-can-eat breakfast, and they're right by the Horseshoe, aren't they? I believe. So
Yeah,
that's another.
Flavortown.
Yeah, so they're having like an all-you-can-eat breakfast for like $20, I think.
Oh, that's a good deal.
I saw something about that. They have a buffet that's like 29 or 19.99 for food, and then
Yeah,
they have all you can drink for 29.99.
Okay,
exactly.
so do can somebody look at where that's located at?
It's right in between the Horseshoe and Paris. You know when you're traveling in between both of them, it's literally as soon as you're exiting out of the Horseshoe, going towards the Paris, it's on your right hand side.
Wait, are you saying when you say exiting out, do you mean going through the halls inside the
Yeah, taking
building?
the hall past the
Okay,
cages.
okay, okay.
Yes,
So when you're going through
yes.
the cut through from Horseshoe to Paris, it's in there.
Yeah, it's on your right hand side, and if you're coming from Paris going to Horseshoe, it's on your left hand side.
Perfect. Thank you.
Yeah, it's called Flavortown.
Perfect. That's great. Thank you for sharing that, ASG. Because I would say for me and probably most people, breakfast is the hardest meal to fin for because for me anyway, I like a light breakfast. Like I don't mind just a piece of banana nut bread, which sometimes I bring some with me. Um, or just a bagel and cream cheese and a glass of orange juice. And so I think breakfast is probably the hardest meal to to get in Vegas. So having a buffet, I think is amazing. So go ahead, Isaac.
Yeah, so I just pinned
Real.
it. It's all you can eat brunch Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 2 p.m.
Thank you. I love that. And that's also if you're meet like some folks are coming into town, you want to meet them for the first time, that would be a great place to go.
Very easy place to go to. Absolutely. No, what I was gonna ask is, you said okay, you have banana bread, right?
Yes.
Do you also like zucchini bread?
Yes.
Okay. Would you
Yes.
accept a cannabis infused version of either?
Oh, I don't think I would deny it. I just have to have a warning label.
A dosages card
Oh, yeah.
attached
I
to
need a
the loan.
warning label because I don't do any of that stuff. So probably a half a slice and I'll be under the table or flipping tables. I don't know which, but we'll be off the rails.
Sounds like fun.
Hey DMC, come tell us about what you won last night.
I think he's so excited. He's still,
Click
he
that
might have got away
microphone
from his
button.
phone. He's probably still, kicking his heels up in the air.
This technology with Twitter right now, you just never know if the person's even still in the room.
Yeah, because there is that little delay. Yeah, true. Very
It's
true.
crazy. Kathy Chang, if you want to come up and tell us an update on what you're doing, and if you have any staking, that's great too. DMC, whenever you can hear me, feel free to jump in, bud. I will continue on with the WSOP coverage so we can just get through it. Okay,
Hey,
so,
I'm here.
oh, there he is. Tell us what happened. How did you get a main event seat? Congratulations.
Yeah, thank you. Can you hear me okay? Because I'm on
Yes,
like
yes.
AirPod things. Um, so Club GG is like the biggest grind imaginable. normally if you're a platinum member, you're facing uh, up to 2,000 entries where winner takes all. But at the end of the month, during the WSOP stretch, they do this thing called like the Vegas Crew event, where if you uh, refer a player to the site that didn't have an account and they sign up as a platinum member, you get entry to a field of 150, and
Oh, wow.
the stack is based on the amount of referrals you get. So you're in there with some players having uh like a 6x or so, I think was the highest. Like someone started with 12,500, and the starting stack for one referral is 2,500. And so like there is like a weird advantage that you can basically pay for, um
Right.
which is underutilized. Like I was kind of doing the math on it, and I think that like the actual GTO play is to refer like 30 people. Um, like if you sold action as like the deal, and said like, hey, 50
Right.
bucks and you'll get, 0.5% of my action if I qualify. Um, you can basically final table without playing a hand with that chip stack. And so uh, the other really interesting factor of this crew event is that the winner actually two main event seats. And so the way
Amazing.
they do it is you get your seat and then you like gift one to a friend as well. And they don't even have to be a Club GG player. So you can technically like just sell the other one, I think, to
Wow.
anybody. But yeah, it's underutilized. Like now that thing, I don't mind like explaining the freaking insane value on it.
Right.
But yeah, pretty much I started with one buy-in, and there was a player who had qualified with me 2 years ago in Club GG because I won this through them like with the normal large event in 2023. And
Right.
so one of the players uh, from then uh, had agreed to chop with me. If either of us won, we were gonna give the seat to the other person. And so he came in with three buy-ins, and I came in with one, because I had two, but it didn't register because it came in like a couple minutes later, I guess, than it needed to. Um, but he ends up being chip leader like 30 minutes in, and I was like bottom stack for effectively the whole event until there were about 30 players left. And then I finally got like a nice push um, where I ended up in the middle, and then I was top four with two tables left, and then just fucking grinded like super hard. It was a crazy grind actually, but yeah, it happened again, and
That's amazing.
yeah, it really is like I I got in 22, 23, and 25 now from like free roll type satellites. So it
Love it.
feels weird.
Good for you.
Yeah, it's all in Club GG too. So 2022 is from an NFT project that used Club GG as their platform. And so
All right.
yeah, I have a weird relationship with Club GG now, even though like I don't really like them as a company like at this point. And they also removed the travel and lodging like stipend in the package, so it's just a seat now, which is kind of like weird. Like it's bad,
That's
it's
kind of,
terrible
yeah.
service to do that when they're charging for the entries and have done it every other year. But I mean, it's also weird to complain about it, like having won a seat and like complaining about that. But I'm able to do that because it's just my personality type. Um, but yeah, I'm excited to go. My
That's
buddy's excited to
amazing.
go.
So I think the question that most of us want to know is, do you need a friend?
No,
Well,
he said he split it with he's
my
splitting it
buddy
with
and
the
I
other guy.
chopped.
I know. I know,
Yeah,
ASG. I'm
I need a
just
friend like
messing.
in general, like in life, yes. Like
Yes.
like you know that there's always room. But no, my buddy was
I
like
love this.
just as stoked, like it felt to him like he won the seat as well. I know that I would have felt the same way if
Of
he had taken
course.
first. Like I could
Of
tell that like
course.
as soon as it happened, like he got the elation that comes with
Oh.
getting this done. But I mean, I can say
So are
like
you guys going to go
I hadn't
together
actually
or
played
what's going
poker
on?
since the WSOP last year, and so I took
Okay.
like however many like 7 months, 8 months off, 9 months. I don't even know what fucking month it is. So that's 10 months
Right.
basically. So I hadn't played poker
Right.
for 10 months until just starting Club GG up again in May, and it's sort of its own poker variant. Like Club GG is not just normal, Texas Hold'em like you would play, live or anything. Like there's a style that is specific to playing on there, and I think that I have like a bit of a knack for what that actually entails, and it's starting to kind of show itself at this point. But yeah, I'm super excited. Like I might reg day two because they changed the schedule. So if you play
Yep.
one
Yep.
C or one D, you're basically there on the 4th of July, which I don't really want to miss with my family. And we live fairly close to Vegas, so like there is a consideration for like a cheap vacation to bring them out here. But like honestly, I also don't like necessarily want to bring my kids to Vegas either. For like
Right.
the fireworks, like I'm not a huge Vegas fan anymore, even though I used to live there. But yeah, now I have the anticipation of the next 5 weeks, which is almost better than playing, depending on your results.
So
So I'm
cool.
excited. Like it's definitely an accomplishment, and I feel really proud of it. And yeah, it's
Yes, you should.
pretty
And
crazy.
it's amazing. You should be very proud of yourself. And are you and your friend going to go together and stay together or separate, or what are you guys doing?
Yeah. So one thing also, like you mentioned, X being fucking buggy, and with
Oh,
that in
it's
mind,
driving us
I can't
nuts.
hear anybody on the audio. So I said my part. I'm gonna duck out real quick and rejoin.
Okay, perfect. Perfect. You know, X really is getting on my nerves because every time we're in a deep conversation with somebody, it's always going haywire. It is so annoying.
Yep, that's just Elon getting us ready for the paywall.
I'm going to slap you for saying that, but you know it's true.
I don't know what else it could be at this point.
Oh my
Like
God.
for real.
All right, let's see if we can bring him back up. It's just so annoying. Like, it used to work so much better. That's what happens when you start to piecemeal a project,
Yeah, no kidding.
right?
I mean, you, I don't know if you've worked at a lot of these companies where I fortunately have not, where they fire a ton of people and they tell the people who are still remaining, oh, just do more with less. You can take over two guys' jobs, right? And then
Well, I'm not so sure he didn't hire new people, but I haven't kept up with it. DMC, welcome back, buddy.
Thank you. Um, so this also has to do with like Wi-Fi versus cell data. If it bounces back and forth, like that is one of the routes that cuts off either yourself or the other hosts. So I'm outside just because my family like is noisy. So I'm bringing you the fine Placerville environment background noise instead.
Love it. All right. So, what are you and your friend going to do, or is it too early to tell if you guys are going to stay together or separately?
Um, I don't want to share a room like in general, but it all depends. Like my buddy has like endless comps with Caesars, and so I'm gonna like try and like talk him into getting like a um suite or like one of the multi-room things.
Right, 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 right.
Yeah, I'm big on like being able to fucking just sit there by myself and fucking mentally prepare on breaks and stuff. Like when I'm out there, I'm trying to like do as much of like the fucking like the, you know, magic meta is possible, like as far as the mental preparation, all the shit that like the pros talk about in terms of like visualization and concentration and focus and stuff. Like I believe in that more, like almost to a fault, to where I think that it might be the actual difference maker in like professional and hobbyist poker, and they're just not telling us. Like Vern Kenny was an example of that. Like when he got caught like doing like fucking shamanistic rituals and shit. Like I think that that actually is something that's like sort of unspoken. And I'm
Well,
not
I'm gonna
saying that I will be taking part in shamanistic rituals, but at the
right.
very least, my point was, uh, I will like sit there during dinner, like in the room, just fucking eyes closed, like telling myself that I'm gonna fucking run super well and shit. Like I don't know if I want like other people sitting there like witnessing me,
Well,
in
and
my.
I totally agree with you. Um, Up until the last 2 years, I had been a team, nobody staying with me but my family for the last 10 years. And the last 2 years, I kind of broke that rule to help some other people out. And after my trip in December, I was going right back to that rule because, not because necessarily anything happened, but it's when I close that hotel room, I want it to be my space. I don't, there's some days I don't want to talk about poker when I'm in that room. I want that to be everything but poker in that room. My family, a TV show, or just study time or prayer time or reflection time. And I get it. I understand completely what you're saying. Part of that prep is to be able to go to that room and shut down. And when you have a roommate, that's not always possible to shut down because they're keyed up or whatever, they want to talk or whatever. And so I'm all about that. It's not, for lack of a better word, or maybe I should say a Zen place. I walk in that door and no matter what, it's my Zen place. And I totally agree with you. And I'm going to tell you, Andrew Moreno, Lucky Chewy, and even and Charlie Carroll, um, you know, and he may be a little more extreme than probably, but I still like some of the stuff he talks about in their Zen world, so to speak. But Andrew Moreno, you may want to go listen to my interview with him. It's on my YouTube channel because I think he gave some really good insight that a lot of people can relate to on that very topic.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's a real thing. Like I don't know the exact extent, but if I were to guess, like there's probably a lot of like numerology and astrology like practitioners. I remember hearing like Phil Ivey say some things over the past couple decades that like kind of gave me the indication that he has at least some knowledge of and partakes in factors that like don't come across a normal GTO strategy solver playbook. Um, and I know the OG players like were extremely superstitious, and I know that like our modern age of like the fucking poker nerd types like will kind of shun that, but uh, I am not convinced that it's um, you know, pure superstition. And I know that like I'm putting myself out there by saying this, but I'm just being truthful with what I
Right.
believe about it. And it's not just poker, but I do believe that like it's significant in poker, and the game of cards itself stems to like occult practice in the first place. So it there's a really obscure sort of conspiratorial route to paint the picture of what I'm describing here, and I'm sure some of you guys are like weirded out, um, but yeah, like
I
being
think
able to
you have
fucking.
very valid points. I do. I think you have very valid points. And I think it also comes from those long hours of grinding. And when you get back to your hotel room, you have to reset yourself and to be able to go to a place spiritually is going to help you reset yourself. So I think you're making lots of valid points. I think the audience would agree.
I mean,
Yeah,
it's
you want
hard
to.
to. Sorry.
No, go ahead, bro.
No, I was just gonna say it's hard to, you know, if you don't got some of that like superstition or whatever, I know ODB said something about how oh, these kids these days, I got so much payment in my league in 50s this year, things have changed.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's definitely hard when you're having so many times you're all in on 80-20, 60-40, whatever, and yeah, you know it's hard to just say, well, it is what it is. It's easy. It's you need something to help motivate you that the next 60-40 is going to go your way.
And
Yeah, like it's weird, but like there's a chance that luck is a skill, I guess is the way that I'll say it. Like there's evidence of people manufacturing luck through the intangible factors, and we see it in like executives and poker pros alike, where I'm pretty sure a ton of these pros are working on the intangibles that relate to attempting to bring themselves serendipity on the tables. I already know that is the case with some of them for sure, whether they're complete quacks or not. The point is, some do adhere to this as if it's a real dimension of the game that can be improved, and there's enough evidence just from fucking living life and looking around that I, do believe that that's the case, like to a degree where, uh, your personality, your demeanor, your belief, your conviction in things, like when people talk about manifesting and all that stuff, writing things down, like uh, there's a reason so many people have that same mantra as an effective approach to things. And so I don't want to just brush it off. I also don't want to devote my life to it at this point, but some people do. And like as far as the focus part with the room, like you want to be able to unwind, which you can do with other people in the room as well. But if we're talking about the main event, I really just want to, physically and mentally, get some like R&R. I want to be refreshed for the next session that I'm coming out to, but at the same time, I also don't really want to lose my train of thought on succeeding in the event, having easy decisions, having you know, tremendous outcomes in the hands that I play. Like when I'm out there the past two times, like I honestly get like upset. Like it kind of fucks with me when my like train of focus is interrupted, which is why it was weird, to have my uh wife out here the past couple times because like she's she loves me. We're trying to do stuff out there, but like I'm in this mode that like I can't even really enjoy anything that isn't me just purely focusing on the task at hand and how monumental it is and the opportunity itself. And so like I start to get like kind of disturbed when like I need to talk about where we're gonna fucking eat or like I need to get an Uber or something like that. Like I do want to be like in lock-in mode, and
well,
so that helps with the room by yourself.
and I'm going to tell you that I've been heavily involved in pro sports, and this is one of those correlations that I see between the poker world and the sports world. And that is with a high level athlete, you have to like you have to get a blockout time, a blockout the social media, a blockout of boyfriends, girlfriends, children, how you know and everybody understands that's part of the process, that hey, this is a huge tournament and we have to just get in the zone and focus in on that tournament. So that means all this other peripheral stuff, although important in our life, just has to take a back seat and has to be blocked out and blacked out, so to speak, while we focus on this event. And you know that was probably one of the hardest things for people to understand, that were friends of ours or even family members of ours that, sorry, but we're at this tournament. We're not going to be responding to you. It's just we got to stay focused on this tournament. And that's where I see that those two paths cross, the poker world and sports as an athlete. That just as you're saying, you got to stay focused, and you get upset when that focus is being interrupted by that peripheral stuff. Although it's important, but it's not as important as your job at hand.
100%, especially when it's something monumental. Like you don't want to always be the guy that's just like, ridiculously like you don't want to be like standoffish and like, ignoring people because you're focused on
Right.
something 100% of the time. But like, if we're talking about the freaking World Series of Poker main event, and you're someone that like is not playing this, as a poker player, or like someone, that comes from like affluence, like this is this is your chance. Like you're not gonna just be handed these every year, even though like that's what's kind of crazy about this stretch now. Like three, I've technically won 4 seats in 4 years, even though I have to gift one this year. Like
Love
I
it.
don't want it to feel like it's something I deserve. Like I've like earned this shit like 100% each time. But the
Right.
idea is like if I need like if I need like a 10-day, 12-day stretch of being the most focused that I've ever been in my entire life, like this is truly the time for it, and what you mentioned about athletes like Mike Tyson, Jordan, Kobe, they all would get into this like trance-like state where it's only the task at hand. It's only defeating their opponent as like a binary choice that they're making in life. The only thing that
And no distractions. No
exactly,
distractions.
exactly. And focus is something that you can control at the table. So that's what I realized about Phil Ivey when I'm watching him play. Uh, he out focuses everybody else, and because of that, it gives him a huge advantage on his capabilities, and you can see it if you watch him. Like you are technically able to out focus your opponents at the table, no matter how the cards are doing, no matter this or that. Like if you control that element and like you're just hyper locked in, uh, there is no disadvantage to doing that, and so really at a place especially like the World Series, if you're in an event, like you need to recognize that factor and be the one that is just at a ridiculous level of focus. Like the really good lag players at the World Series, you'll notice like this is like their main, talent, as far as like the being able to choose all these like kind of gray area spots, like whether to raise or call or whatever, like because they're raising and calling constantly. Like they're the most focused people at the table usually. Like these hyper lags, like they're like incredibly uh focused on the game and the opponents and stuff. And they're acting on it like constantly. And it wouldn't work without that. Like you can't just go
Right.
ho hum like, oh, I'm gonna just randomly choose this guy in this turn card to fucking raise. Like no, they're literally on top of it, like, okay, I see the spot, and it's because they're fucking looking so attentively at the game and at the players that they're able to just sniff out that teeny little edge that finds the fold enough times to make it just like ridiculously profitable. And those players are like the best in the game. Like the hyper lag player is like the one to fear. Just there's more variance, but like there's way more precision as well. And so I respect that factor. Like I'm not that guy like in my playing style, but I do recognize they are the ones that are out focusing people.
Well, I appreciate your perspectives. And for those that have been in the conversation with me before about me playing the main event, and that I had an offer a few years ago from a friend to stake me into the main event. And I told him no, I wasn't ready, because at that time I wasn't even studying poker. I was truly a rec player. Um, And people even this year are like, aren't you going to play the main event? I'm like, no, I'm not ready. I have too much going on in my life. Because just like you're saying, DMC, when I want to play that event, and I will play it, it's going to have my utmost attention for no less than 6 months prior to it. And I just can't do that right now. Um, if I'm going to put that much money on the line to sign up for a tournament, I'm going to be fully focused or I'm not doing it. So what you're saying resonates a lot with me.
Awesome. Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I mean, it's if you're like a avid poker enthusiast, um, it's bucket list doesn't even really describe it. Like it's something that the experience alone uh lets you like it lets you feel something that doesn't exist anywhere else on earth. And being able to just take it in, like see, feel what it's like, and uh then the pressure that's involved, like the actual tangible pressure of being on location, sitting down at your table, and knowing that you're in like the event that Chris Moneymaker like made famous 20 years ago. Like it's the greatest experience. Like it's literally up there with having kids and getting married or whatever. Like it's one of the great like accomplishments just to be able to shuffle the chips and make decisions uh at the game. Like it's one of the best things
It's
ever.
a it's a journey. It's a journey, and those that hold poker near and dear to their heart know exactly what you're talking about. That it's about the journey, and it's about when I walk into that room and I smell musty people that haven't taken a bath in days, and you hear the thousands of chips being shuffled at the tables, and the lights are kind of dim, and I think about especially the Rio when you would go into that big grand ballroom. It was pretty dark in there, except for the lights that shined over each individual poker table. And it was coming into that shadowy room, and it's the journey. It's the absolute journey of it all. I love that.
Yeah, it's surprising. Like you can be upset by the results, but you also will take in like one of the greatest feelings you've ever had. Just and that's what I was talking about with the anticipation. Like the fact that I get this, you know, 4 week stretch leading up to actually sitting and playing. Uh, it means a lot to be able to feel that and just to know it's coming. Like this is
Right
approaching.
on.
It's the biggest event, and I usually get prepared by watching the old WSOPs from like Moneymaker era forward. There's too many now to do that, but like I watch the classics each year before I go out to Vegas. So like now that I don't have to play Club GG for the rest of the month, I'm gonna be starting that up on Poker Go pretty much today. But yeah,
I
thank you so
love it.
much for having me up here. Like I'm, I love how hard you're, you know, working for the sake of the game, and just it's nice seeing people out there that have an adoration for the game and for the players as much as I do. So yeah, I just really appreciate what you do.
I appreciate your kind words, and um, please continue to stop by the next few weeks and update us and uh, keep us excited about your journey because we want to hear all about it. And again, thanks for stopping by. ASG or Isaac, you have any more questions for DMC before he needs to just chill or whatever?
Mm, just let me see. I'll probably back channel what I'm gonna talk to him about. Um, but I will say, see you at the main, buddy. Good luck, bro.
Thanks, bro. Yeah, I,
And
Uh, talk for a second about those heads up all ins before you finally won.
oh man, yeah, dude, did you watch it, ASG?
Yeah, you were heads up against. It was like Ace Four against Ace King, Ace Four against Ace 10, Ace King against Queen Nine, and you chopped two of them and won one of them.
Oh man, yeah, like so they like I guess I'll explain this like what I mentioned about Club GG before, and how it's a different variant of poker. Uh, I play according to what I believe is the algorithm functions on there. And there's other people with similar results to me at this point, but I think there's a little bit of an argument for my angle on how the site works actually, having merit. Um, in that case, I would not be playing those particular hands the exact same way. But once it's heads up, um, and I have like a re-shove spot with the ace blocker, like basically just fundamental poker with stack sizes combined are saying that these these three bet shoves pre-flop with the ace X, 10 bigs with the queen nine suited, they're standard plays. Like there's not a lot of wiggle room to try and see multiple streets with those types of hands when the stacks are that shallow. And so I basically went to like a standard, uh, you know, poker 101 type of strategy. However, those were early in my heads up with this guy, and I didn't recognize how much of like a value uh, aligned like style he had. And so if it were further into the heads up match, I wouldn't be just reshoving those stack sizes with just the ace. But in this case, it was super early on. I get it in twice, uh, at a like a 3-1 dog. So yeah, he got the hands exactly correct. So I end up chopping against ace king and ace 10. Um, that basically tells me that it's gonna be my time, and that the fact that like they're not getting rid of me uh that easily says that like they're gonna give me like the fucking layup hand at some point here, and I need to just be patient and wait for the exact spot that it shows up. And so I took that approach like the rest of the battle, where I'm basically folding to every single bet that he makes because it's always value, until I finally flop the two pair with the queen three suited. He finally bets into me, and there's a flush draw out there, but uh, this player's not even firing flush draws on the flop like at a you know like a huge ratio. And so I knew that, like, okay, from what I've gathered about this guy and the fact that I believe Club GG's giving me this fucking layup win at some point, like it kind of all aligned, and I got it in there for the win right after break. But no, I did the math. I think it was 50 to 1 odds for me to come out without losing the tournament on those three hands combined. Um, my math might be wrong, but I'm pretty sure it's either 25 or 50 to 1. So they took care of me in that regard. But if you play Club GG, like 50 to 1 is a coin flip. So it's just kind of a nasty site where you need to be aware of that stuff if you want to you know pull off like the fucking sick wizardry. Um, but yeah, it sucked for that guy, and I actually gave him 10% of my seat because he was friends with Brad. It turned out, and he was telling me to go to the stream that Brad had going on, which I didn't do because I was in my fucking hyper focus mode. So like I was like Phil Ivey locked in last night, knowing that all my friends are watching, knowing that like the poker spaces community, like some of them are paying attention to this. Like uh I didn't talk to anybody during the game. Like I was just 100% fucking focused on this. But that being said, like my opponent heads up banana, he got absolutely railroaded in a way that like just gives you PTSD, like for real. And so he ended up jumping in our spaces, that one of the other Club GG guys did, like that we were just, six of us like talking about it. He jumped in there, like I heard from him a little bit. He's a veteran. He's like a little bit younger than me, but he's friends with friends, and just like after how that went down, like I just had to. I was like, hey, like you got 10%. I sent it to him in a DM so that like it's official, and he feels good about it. But
Good
That's
for
great.
you.
Yeah. And
yeah, no,
yeah,
I'll
yeah.
gladly do. Fuck, keeping 90% of my equity on a main event seat after literally getting past a 50-1 fucking deficit, like statistically, like it's only fair, like and I hope I told him I'm gonna make that 6 figures for you, bro. Like I fucking need to, like for real. Like I need to turn this into more money than he would have made. That's
I
the goal.
love it.
Nice. And then I guess going with your focus and stuff, is there anything, since I was watching, is there anything you were doing during there was a short break before you won? I think it was like two hands later. So what was your deal there in terms of that break?
Okay, so during the breaks, I was jumping into the spaces and like doing like a really quick chat with the guys that were in there. So that was the only time that I would, step aside from just being locked in. And so uh, that was the routine. Like I would go into that spaces until there was less than a minute left, and then I just get out of there. And I kept telling them like how next time we talk, they'd see like some drastic improvement. And then finally, that last one, it was like, hey, I'm gonna fucking have the trophy next time I see you guys. And there ended up being one more break, and then the first hand after break was when I won it. But no, I was in like my fucking Mike Tyson fucking demonic fucking mode last night. And, like it's
Good for you. No ears lost, though. I take it.
not for him. No, I mean I fucking gave him. He got a 10% fucking free roll, but
Good for you for doing that, dude. That's awesome. Says a lot about you.
yeah, I mean, it was easy. It was easy to do. Like especially when it's a $50 investment turning into this. Like, I uh, I absolutely like know. I don't know the pain of second place. Like that's the good thing is that I'm 2 for 2 on heads up. I'm 3 for 3
Right.
technically on heads up for these things. But the way he got bamboozled was also even obscure for Club GG. Uh, that being said, like you know, there was a clear difference in player skill. And I know that I'm like an asshole for saying that, but like, I knew that this guy was cooked if he didn't just get hit with the deck. Um, and so thankfully, I was able to fucking weasel out of these spots that like I'm supposed to lose. But at the same time, like there was just zero chance of getting outplayed. Um, and Club GG had my back, thankfully. But the dude is a fucking like really cool guy, and he's like in the fucking poker circle. So I'm like excited that he does get like a sweat for what
Hell yeah.
transpires next month.
That's awesome. Good for you. Congratulations again. DMC won a main event seat, actually two on Club GG last night. He gets to share one with a friend. And then he gave away 10% to his opponent, which is awesome. Says a lot about you, DMC. So, congratulations, buddy. Love that. Uh-oh, we lost him. Thank you for stopping by, DMC. In case you're having technical issues, we lost you. Appreciate you. Stop by all summer long. Keep us updated on what's going on in your journey. Um, we'll be following it for sure. I'm going to move back to the WSOP coverage. Let's talk about that 25K heads up event number 7. Started out with 64 players, 1.5 million in the prize pool, half a million to go to the winner. Going into today, there are 4 players left. Patrick Leonard of the UK is at that table. I'm going to just spell this gentleman's name. It's Aliakseiboika. Has listed on his head mob 1.6 million in winnings, so he's no slouch either. David Chen of the USA is listed with 53K in winnings on his head mob, and Arthur Martirosian, I think is how you say his name, is a two-time bracelet winner and has 6.9 million in winnings. So those are the four folks left in that heads up event, which is televised today, I believe, right? Isn't that what Avi was telling us yesterday? I think it's televised later if somebody wants to look it up. All right. At 1 p.m. yesterday, the final day of event number 6 was the 1500 seven card stud tournament. There were 377 runners, 106,000 went to the winner, Dan Helmier, who I was so excited to see him win another bracelet. So congratulations to him. Event number 8 was played yesterday. It was the $1,500 dealer's choice tournament. There was over 800,000 in the prize pool, 150K going to the winner. They're going into day 3 today, and the players list was not up yet, nor the chip stack sizes, so I could not get us an update on that.
For which event? I think
Also,
stuff just got refreshed recently.
If you want to look up event number 8.
Oh yeah, I was just on that site.
Just look up who our 3 chip stack top chip stacks are.
Okay, because my I know Adam Owen, who's last in chips at 12th place, so I just need to look up the rest. Top in chips is Benny Glazer with 3,050,000, Justin Liberto with 1.48 million, and Jonathan Krella with 1.3 million. Fourth is Stephen O'Dwyer with 1.245.
Awesome.
So they're down to 14 players. Excuse me.
Thank you. 14 players left in that one. All right. So then they had event number 9, the 10K Omaha High Low 8 or better. Day 1 started. They had 597 runners. There are 93 moving on to today. 150,000 is going to go to the winner of that event. And right now, Ryan Bambrick is the chip leader with 325,000 in chips. And his winnings on Hendemab are listed at $3,000. So this is probably the biggest score he's going to make at a poker table as far as what's listed on Hendemab anyway. Austin Marks is in second place of chip stacks with 320K, and he has just over 7,800 in winnings on his Hendemab. Micah Brooks has 306K in his stack with no winnings listed on Hendon. And just for those of us that are part of Team Spacers, the fantasy team, Robert Mizraki is one of our horses, and he's in 8th place in that tournament as far as chip stack sizes with 242,000. So come on, Robert. Take it down. He's fully capable. Some notables, Carol Fuchs is in 36th place with 120,000. And names like Dinegs, Kabrhal, Eric Seidel are still in it to win it. And that restart is at 1 o'clock today. Also, yesterday was the final day of event number 3, the 5K 8-handed no limit event. There were 5 going into yesterday, and the winner was Antonio Galania. And this was his second bracelet. Go ahead.
No, I just wanted to say, sorry if I missed it, but shout out to Austin Marks, who's in one of my group chats, who's second in chips right now in that 10K.
Yes, I did say he was. Okay, I'm glad he's part of your group. It's always fun when you know somebody personally. I just love that sweat. Okay, so today the schedule reads as follows. At 10 a.m. is event number 10, the $600 deep stack, day 1. At 11 p.m. is the 11 p.m. No, 11 a.m. Sorry, guys. At 11 a.m. is the restart of the Mystery Millions Day 2. At 12 p.m. is event number 7. And that is round 5 of the Heads Up tournament. At 12 p.m., you will also see event number 11, which is the 10K Mystery Bounty Day 1 kickoff at noon. Also at the WSOP today at 1 p.m. is the day 2 of Event 9, the 10K Omaha High or Low 8 or Better tournament. And then at 2 p.m. is event number 12, the $1,500 no limit deuce to 7 low ball draw. Day 1 starts at 2 p.m. Now, the non bracelet events are as follows for today. 1 p.m. is the $250 no limit daily deep stack. 2 p.m. is the $240 landmark for 2,000 in chips. 4 p.m. is the $400 no limit turbo deep stack. At 6 p.m. is the $2,700 no limit PLO high roller landmark into the 25K no limit PLO high roller. At 7 p.m., it is the $580 landmark for 5K in chips. At 8 p.m. is a $200 no limit turbo deep stack. And at 10 p.m. is the $135 landmark for 1,000 in chips. So that's what's going on at the World Series of Poker today. Anybody got anything to add to that?
Yeah, I have a question. I'm still trying to figure out this app. Did they just not? Do they not have people reporting? Because I go to story and it's just a feed of random people and with none of the events really separated. I can't figure out what's going on. Basically, is what I'm saying.
I'm going to tell you that right now, I think everybody's just trying to figure it out. Most people don't even know how to go on the app and update their chip stack size
Well,
because there's
sorry.
several. That's okay. There's several things you need to do to get to the point where you can add your stack size, right? And then when you look at the feed of stories, which I think is what you're referring to,
Yeah.
it's just everybody can go in there and just put whatever comments. Like yesterday, I saw some guy put the word boobies,
Yeah.
as his comment. You know what I mean?
And it's just this, it's one story feed for all the events. So I'm trying to figure out,
yes.
is Poker News or Poker Org or anybody actually reporting anything, or is it just this?
Okay. So in that feed, there are definitely reporters putting stuff. So if you look at the poster, if it looks more formal, like the way that they're posting, then you know it's one of the reporters. But Poker Org and Poker News are there live reporting. So then this was my complaint when this all started is now we have to go to this app, the WSOP regular site, Poker News and Poker Org in order to find what we're looking for updates. And where before I could really just go on the WSOP site, pull up all the tournament information, pull up all the winners information, pull up all the information for tomorrow, the next day. Now you have to go to 4 different places to find what you're looking for. And don't forget Twitter. My pet peeve.
Oh yeah. Pet peeve indeed.
I thought at least that stories would filter by the event and that you'd be able to have an extra filter if you wanted to filter to just the official stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, and maybe that's something they'll build on in the future. But right now, it's just everything's kind of piled in that live feed of stories, and you're going to get trolls in there. They're slowly creeping in there. Those old trolls, and I saw another screen name today when I was looking. I was like, oh. Pardon me. I can't believe that screen name is still showing up on the list. Like nobody's called them out heads up to get them to change it.
Yeah,
Oh yeah,
people
that's
are
the
going
other
hard
thing
with
is
that.
they still haven't put real names for people in the with the chips. So God bless to anybody in the I don't know if the fantasy league Adam Owens going by Viva Mexico. Do they know that? I don't know.
Exactly.
Hendon Mob's
Exactly.
gonna have a field day this year, though.
Who is? Say that again.
Hendon Mob.
Oh, yeah. Well, the good news is Hendon Mob is Kevin Mathers. So he's in the mix of all of this and trying to keep
Wait,
it
Kev
all
Math is
straight
involved in
for us.
Hendon Mob?
Yeah, he's the one that puts out all the Hendon Mob stuff. He updates the numbers, he helps with that. But all the, if you go to his feed, you'll see where he now, I'm really excited and I'm going to toot my own horn for a minute because now um, what I've been doing the last 2 years is actually influencing the way others are doing things. Now Kevin is putting out on the from the Hendon Mob site a daily list of all the events around Vegas. They've never done that before, and I like to think they're modeling that after what we do here. That we're discussing all the tournament series in Vegas. And so now every day he puts out a list with all the tournaments in Vegas. So kudos to him. But yeah, he's heavily involved with Hand and Mob. He works for them. Yep. Go ahead, Isaac.
Really quick, regarding that new rule that they made because of last year's final table and everything, what were the specifics about? I mean, I know players, right? You're not supposed to have phones up to a certain point, final three tables or something like that. But
Right.
what about your rail? Can people in the rail have devices and all of that?
No.
Perfect. I
My
just wanted to confirm that. Thank
Yeah,
you.
no. And there's no coaching at the rail either anymore, which I have an issue with that. But anyway, we're not
Yeah,
going to.
that I feel you on because traditionally a lot of players have had coaches, right
Right.
there, but it's like I'm pretty sure that there's only so much you can do to like police that. I feel,
Right.
you know.
And part of the whole thing about the final tables is you're getting information that aired 30 minutes ago, and so people are just kind of updating you so you can kind of tweak your game as to how people are playing whatever. I have no problem with that, but the problem is they're using solvers on those devices instead of just looking up what took place 30 minutes ago on the feed. So anyway, yeah, it's going to be interesting to see what the players say about that after this WSOP, if they're going to fight for that to be changed back or whatever, excluding, the solver issue. I'm talking about just coaching and being able to look back at the film 30 minutes ago to see what somebody did during a hand. So, anyway, we'll see.
I mean,
Wait,
the real question in a couple of years is going to be to ask Tamayo, like, how much did those things help, right?
Well,
That's going to be the real question in a couple of years. Whenever they, really really delve into that situation, how much did that help, right?
and I don't disagree with you, but it's also the aesthetics of what the audience was witnessing there. It's
It was
also, is
pretty
that the
savage. No, it
look?
was pretty savage because we're
Yeah,
still talking about it a year later.
yeah,
I think like they did rock the poker world with that one
yeah.
because I had never seen somebody pull out a laptop and be like, "Yo, we're over here running 15 minutes ago and running the hands." Like that's pretty nuts. That's pretty
It
nuts.
was
And I
crazy.
mean,
I
I
wait.
think we all do things in order to like prepare, right? Like, I mean, shit, I make lock screen graphics, right? That have
right.
certain things I want to be able to remember, and I have them so I can shuffle around my lock screens and just have reminders like, okay, like fold, stupid, fold. Yeah, stuff like that.
I hear you. ASG, were you going to add something?
Yeah, I just kind of you actually have an issue with people with banning people getting coached, like not during breaks, but actually in between hands.
I think it was part of the allure of the final tables that they could get up if they weren't in the hand, they could get up, go talk to their rail, and come back and sit down to play the next hand. I'm not saying that they should get up if they're in a hand to get coached, but I've sat in the Thunderdome, and part of the allure of the whole situation is to be standing at the rail next to. I was there when Scotty Wynn was playing, and I was standing uh, next to his little posse. And so when he was out of the hand, he would walk over to the rail and talk to his folks. And as a spectator, it was quite interesting to see, his demeanor, what they talked about, you know, and then he would just scoot right back to the table when the next hand was being dealt. It definitely didn't delay anything.
Yeah, but the allure is to get cheered on, not to get coached. Like that was the problem is people were actually like giving advice, so it's no longer one player to a hand. Like and that's why they finally had to say like that people were taking advantage of going to your cheering section with getting like advice instead of going to your cheering section to get motivated or to be cheered on.
They've always been coached. At
Yeah,
every
yeah.
rail I've stood at the Thunderdome for the last decade or so, there has been coaching at the rail. The problem that's changed, as I see it, is the electronics portion that came in, and solvers. And so you have multiple people looking at those solvers. So when I walk over to that rail, it's no longer a, hey, during that hand, maybe you should have done this or that. It's now a, we put in the solver, and each person at that rail is talking about solvers and blah, 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 which is, not what we want to see happen.
Yeah, coaching is for after. It's not for during. I completely agree with not coaching.
Well,
Yeah, I
I
don't.
mean,
I
again,
don't.
look, there's different ways to look at this, but I'll give an example of a way I saw it done that I thought was done right, and that's when Johnny Chan was Jamie Gold's coach for his WSOP final table, right? It wasn't like he's going over and giving them, you know what I'm saying, a fucking odds, percentages, or anything. It looked like he was just going over and maybe just tightening up his mind state, making sure
Yeah,
he was
exactly. It was mind states. Like, just play
that
your
type of
game.
shit.
It
Yeah,
wasn't
that's
like,
coaching.
oh, go
That's
rate.
coaching.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's what
that's what
coaching
I'm
really
talking
is.
about.
Yeah.
Coaching. And
No,
it's
but
hitting
that's
them
not
on
coaching.
path, and you've
That's
got to let it go. It is coaching. When I coach an athlete, and they have a shitty attitude and they come over to me, every sport you can coach. Poker is a sport. When an athlete comes over to me and they have a shitty attitude because they just lost a big game, my job as a coach is to say, hey, you got to let that go. You got to refocus. That person's not really hurting you. You're hurting yourself. So you got to let that anger go. You got to let it go. It's the past. We could talk about it later, but right now you got to stay in the moment, and you got to focus on whatever the job is at hand. And remember, this person is three betting at this time, and 9 times out of
yeah.
10,
That last part is the problem.
well, it isn't for me. I think that's what coaching is.
No,
And
that's one player to a hand. Once
every
you
sport,
start telling people move to the left, or in tennis or three bet more, that's when you've crossed the line into no longer being one player to a hand.
in your opinion, I
No,
I
no,
beg to differ.
100%, not in my
In
opinion.
your
That, that
opinion,
that's
in
that's
your
what you
opinion.
got punished in tennis. That's when people got punished in tennis, was when
And
they
guess
saw the
what?
coaches say move
That
over.
rule is no longer in existence. That rule is no longer in existence. And believe me, I had to go by that rule for many decades and never coached during a match. So believe me, you're preaching to the choir here. But I'm saying that every sport you can coach, in every sport, poker should be no different. I do not agree that there should be electronic devices involved in GTO, Wizard, or whatever, but you should be allowed to coach. And so we could just agree to disagree, and we're
I
good.
mean, I gotta throw something else in here just to stir the pot real quick. But like, I mean, when it's basketball and you go to the sideline, the coach isn't just going, "Hey, bud, you're good."
Yeah, but
You're gonna
that's
do
during
great.
timeouts, not during the game.
Well, I mean, at the
Yes,
same
it
time,
is
if you're
during
not
the
involved in
game.
a hand, isn't that kind of a timeout?
It is
But
during the game. He's yelling. The coaches have lost their voices and voice boxes because they're yelling instructions during the game, coaching.
That's
it's all
completely
right, y'all.
different.
I
Because
love
this is
heated
a
topics
mental.
like this.
Imagine like if you had Magnus Carlsen behind some player in a chess tournament saying, "Move the queen over here."
That's not the same.
No, that's
That's a
exactly the
specific.
same.
No,
It
no, no.
isn't, because that's a
Actually, there is a
specific.
difference.
That's a specific move. If I am saying to someone, "Hey, you need to three bet more often," that could be in this next hand or 50 hands from now. It's just a plan of action. But to tell somebody to move their queen, that is a direct
That's instruction.
movement. Yeah.
That's instruction.
Okay,
See
imagine
that?
if you yelled behind somebody, "Raise." It's the same thing.
Well, I mean, people yell, "Fold, fold, raise, raise" when all
No,
that's
they
happening,
don't
though.
yell fold, fold, raise, raise. That's what you yell at your screen. That's not what you yell in real life to a person. Otherwise, that would
Well, and
violate
nobody
one
has
player
done
to a
that.
hand.
And you're right. Nobody has done that. That's not what we're talking about here. You're talking about specific instructions during a hand. Nobody's talking about that. We're talking about coaching. Three bet more often, or maybe try four betting a few
Yeah,
times,
yeah, and
or
that's something you should
those are
do during
instructions.
breaks, not during the tournament.
Well, we're going to disagree, okay? And we're going to agree to disagree, because when somebody is not in a hand and walks to the rail,
No,
that
they're
is a
in the
break.
hand when they walk to the rail.
No,
Yes.
they're out of the
Yes,
hand.
they
They've already
are.
folded. They're already folded.
No, that's not when they walk
They're
to the
not
rail.
in
They
the
walk to
hand
the
any
rail
longer.
during the all-in. That's the issue. They're
Okay,
in the
no, I'm
hand.
not talking about that. But I'm not talking about that. I'm
Yo,
talking about
yo.
when a hand
The
is
fact we're going
folded.
so hard at this is
Tell
so
me
dope.
one time
When
when somebody folded and then walked to the rail.
I just did. I was standing in the Thunderdome with Scotty Wynn. He did it every time he folded a hand. He went to the rail and talked to his rail. I just told you a live story in person that I
Then that
witnessed
should not have
myself.
been allowed. That is not what should be going on.
Everybody does it. Watch the Thunderdome, dude. Everybody does it in a folded hand. Everybody.
Nobody does
I
that
will
in a
speak for
folded hand.
2000s
Watch the
ESPN
main.
shit.
Nobody folds and walks to the rail. They stay in their
Go look.
seat.
You need to go watch ASG. We have a new speaker up here. Rather lost.
Hi, how's it going, everybody?
It's fantastic.
Oh yeah.
I've just been listening in, cutting grass today, got my headphones on, but
Love
I
it.
just wanted to interject right now in this conversation. Think about a basketball or football game, hockey game. When those players come off the ice and onto the bench, and the coach goes up behind them and pulls out a little whiteboard with a copy of the ice or the basketball court or the play with the X's and the O's. They certainly go over plays in between plays.
Yeah, that's during
live
the
play in
timeouts.
all
That's
of those
basically
sports.
being on break.
No, not during this. Like in hockey, there's always people on the ice, and when they come off the ice, you'll see coaches go up and start talking to them. This is what I want you to do. I want you to pin more here. I want you to, I need more back check. Basketball is the same way. Football is the same way. There's players on the sideline that are going to be going in on the next play because they know it's third down
You're
and they have a
comparing
third down team.
sports to games of skill.
Now hold on. Poker is a sport.
Poker is a game of skill.
Okay, poker
Exactly.
is a sport.
It's not
I
a
would
sport
consider
where it's about execution. It's about anybody can raise if being told they should raise.
All right, we're going to let Rather finish his point without interruption. Go ahead, Rather.
All I'm saying is that if you have a coach on the rail and you're playing a game and you fold a hand and you go talk to your coach, and he tells you need to do this more or that more or that more, I don't see that as an issue. If he goes over there and it's more inspirational, I don't see that as an issue either. You're basically their coach. You're just advising. Now, when you start getting into like during play, like getting up off your chair during play and going talking to your coach while a hand is going on, no, definitely not.
If you're in the hand or not in the hand.
Well, I mean, you were talking about an all-in hand. Someone said
Okay,
something about
I
all in,
wasn't.
but
I
once
was not.
you're all
Okay.
in, you're committed. Okay,
Okay,
so at
I'm
that
not
point,
talking about.
it doesn't
I'm not
matter,
talking
does
about
it?
an all-in hand. Wait a minute. I'm not talking about an all-in hand. I'm talking about I get my hand dealt to me. I fold it. I get up and go talk to my rail. Is that okay with you, Rather?
I think it's okay, in my opinion.
Okay. Okay.
I do not think it's okay because it's not during the established break
Okay,
time.
and we already heard you say that, and I appreciate you. Go ahead, Exact Deck.
Hi, Sherry. Love your space as usual. Thanks
I
for
love
putting
you.
it on.
Thank you, bud.
I was just going to make a similar point to Rather's, just perspective, not my opinion on what's right or wrong. But I mean, in football, they call a timeout and go look at video of the last play. And as a player, I know some of my opponents are GTO masters, and I know that they're looking for GTO moves. So I can adjust my play based on what information they're getting and what they're relying on. I mean, not that poker is the exact same as other sports, but it's allowed everywhere else. They're looking at video of the play right before, and if you know that they're on to you, you have to switch up your game. And that's that. But the solvers on the sideline, electronics and analyzers, it's a little bit borderline, but you know what? Guess what? If they're going to play that against me, then I'm not playing typical, which is generally the case anyway.
I appreciate
I'm
your
in.
thoughts on
Always love
this.
the back and forth, and appreciate you, Sherry. What's up, Asimov?
I appreciate you.
Yes, sir.
Have a good day. I'll let everybody.
Thanks, Exec Deck.
You too, bro. You too, bro.
Appreciate
Much
you.
love.
Appreciate you. Go ahead, Valerie. Uh-oh, Valerie, are you there? Go ahead, honey.
Oh, I was going to say there's like a larger discussion happening right now about like the change of etiquette and ethics. And when I used to watch poker on TV, like the only time I saw people go to the rail was when they weren't involved directly in a hand. But I think I have seen some people like walk around while they're in a hand and kind of talk and chat. Like people are pushing the boundaries.
Right. Martin Kabrhal is a prime example. They're waiting for him to take his turn, and he's standing up, leaning over, doing all kinds of the Watusis. He's a prime example of not staying in their seat. Um, any other comments? Go ahead,
Hasn't
folks.
hasn't the rule always been if you're in the middle of the hand, no coaching during a hand? Hasn't that always been the rule?
Yes. I'm not talking about coaching
Then there
during a
you go. I
hand.
like that.
Yeah,
Yeah, screw
I'm not
during a
talking
hand,
about
but
coaching in a
in
hand.
between hands, I
So,
mean,
yeah.
yeah, okay,
And we have to
I
remember
agree with
that,
you.
breaks at the poker table come hours apart, so um, coaching during breaks only, I just don't think is a good idea. But that's my personal opinion.
I
Go
mean,
ahead,
it's
guys.
also about eras though, because I've been watching all the WSOPs, right? And like 90s, I don't know how much because they would only show so much, but 2000s, you saw it quite often. And even 2023, when I played the main, I mean, Wyman was going to his rail a lot. Was anybody telling him anything? I don't know, right? But let's say if they
Right.
were, like, again, it's like certain things, observations, I don't feel are a bad thing, right? Instruction is different though.
Yeah,
Instruction is very different.
and
Like
Yeah,
I
and
can
thank
that,
you.
totally be on board with that. That instruction is something that
um,
shouldn't be happening, but observation at the same time is something that you can't count out because, I mean, you need all the information you can get
but like
on a poker
last
Okay.
year is
table.
the perfect example because like you have Tamayo, who's a professional in himself, going to the rail where he's got his professional quote unquote coaches both watching the feeds as well as have their solvers out. And then you got Griffin, who is just, some semi rec studied player
Right.
from New York, and during his thing, he's not going to, those same people telling him, oh, this happened while whatever, because that's not information that you should have yet, because that is, you know you haven't hit your break to be able to watch any of those streams yourself. That's why I'm saying how much it exceeds one player to a hand, especially. And that's why they had to get rid of the electronics. If you got one group watching feeds of something that another player could not have gotten on their own, you've extremely extended one player to a hand.
Okay, but that is up to the player to have a rail or not. I'm going to tell you right now, if I'm on the final table in Thunderdome, I'm going to have people there strictly watching the feed or getting information on the feed to feed me in a half an hour if I had a big hand.
Yeah,
So the player has a choice to have people on their rail for that purpose or not. It's been like that for forever. It's nothing new. The problem came in with the solver issue and the computers coming out last year, crossing the line in many people's opinions, including my own. But I will always support coaching on the rail. And that to me does not mean me saying to move the queen to the next square. It is, you need to three bet more often. You need, general things to keep reminding the player of. And whether they use that the next hand or 15 hands from now or 500 hands or maybe never is up to them. But that's just my opinion for what it's worth. 2 cents.
yeah, and I am that once you're on at the table, any rail should be for emotional support only.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. Appreciate that.
And I'm for let's just fucking play some poker. God damn it,
I
I want to
know
be in
that's right.
Vegas every.
Hey, let's make the fucking final table in Thunderdome and then we can discuss this shit in real time.
That sounds like fun. Yes,
Oh my
yes.
God. Could you imagine one of us, our rail? Come on.
I'm
Let's
saying
go.
that's what I'm aiming for. That's what I'm definitely aiming for.
Let's go.
Let's go. I'm for
Let's go.
delaying the TV coverage an extra.
Oh, wait, you cut out. Delaying it an extra hour, maybe, is what you said? Uh-oh.
Yeah, that would solve
We
it. You
lost.
delay it till past break, and then that would be one option as well.
Right on.
I mean, I will say though that watching the main while you're playing the main, like say you're in the big room at the Paris and you're watching the big stream right there, that's really fun.
Well,
I'll never forget when Weinman went in all in with jacks. Somebody went all in with queens. Someone went all in with aces, I think, and he got the jack on the turn or something like that, and that the fucking room erupted. Like that was some cool shit.
I'll tell you what, there is nothing more exciting than that Thunderdome in person. It is so fun to watch on TV, so to speak, through replay, whatever. But when you're actually in that room, it is just a whole different level of love at first sight. I'm just going to tell you, if you've never had that opportunity, I highly recommend to get to Vegas, even if you don't play. I can't tell you how many people I've taken to the Thunderdome that don't even play poker, but I'm like, you know what? This is like a part of history and folklore. You at least need to see what Thunderdome looks like. And of course, they're in awe and they don't even play poker. So imagine you being a poker player walking in there the first time. It's such a great experience. Love it. The only thing I don't like is you can't see the cards. So you
I was about to say I was there for 10 minutes. I was bored out of my mind and left.
you can't see the cards. But see, I take in the other stuff. Like I do like to stand if somebody has a rail, I do like to stand to hear what they're talking about. What the plan of action is. I do like to just be in the moment listening and seeing how others are, taking in the moment, how they're a part of the moment, how they're doing, as a rail. It's just so fun. God, you guys. And a lot of times, unless it's somebody I really want to watch, a lot of times I'll just go in there to watch when I'm tired and just need a break. And because they have comfortable chairs, I'll just go in there and chill and watch, a final table or two. So, anyway, go ahead, Isaac.
Yeah, I gotta say, there's nothing like watching Phil Hellmuth eat a sandwich at the main table. You know it's a sight to see because you got to give it up to the folks who are used to that shit, right? Where you're trying to like eat a sandwich and have some kind of a moment to yourself with like 40 or 50 fucking people around you taking iPhone photos or saying, "Yo, Phil, can I get a Phil?" You know, like yo, it's very interesting, and you're right. Like being inside of the TV area is something else. I will never forget it because Phil Hellmuth was eating a sandwich. Fucking Mattisau was rolling around in his wheelchair, either taking notes or he's in a space talking shit, right? And who else was there when I was seeing all this shit? There was one more person. One more person. Oh yeah, fucking Jungle Man running around in a lion costume. Like yo, it's just shit you don't see. You know what I'm saying? It's just shit you don't see.
Well, I'm just going to say maybe Isaac's trying to suggest that we need to ban food at the final table, just like we're going to ban the electronic devices.
Hell no, yo, more sandwiches, yo. You know what I'm saying?
Oh,
More
shit.
sandwiches. I will never forget that shit when I saw it on
Oh,
the
I'm just
stream.
waiting for the coaches here have bump.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. Or there's like a note in your sandwich, right? Raise more.
Oh, shit. I hope it's not peanut butter and jelly, though. The jelly will be all over the note, and you'll probably misread the note and make the wrong move. So there you go. Hey, a little shout out to James Pacman. He's messaged me. He was on his way to play the $600 tournament today. So shout out to Pman. Um, did I say Pac-Man? I meant to say Pman. Shout out to Pman that he does well today. Gets on a little bit of a roll to start his summer. So you guys, I'm going to let you. Anybody have anything to add to the show, I'm going to go around the horn. Now's the time. Valerie, anything you'd like to bring up or talk about before we log off, hon?
No, it's been a great conversation. Thanks so much for doing this. Like, I feel so informed, and I love being here today.
Well, thank you for those kind words. Glad you could join us. Go ahead, ASG.
Just to add to my complaints for this app, I know somebody in the day 2 of the Mystery Millions. I tried to search his name to see where his table is. I could not find an even place to search for that.
Oh, Jesus Christ. You know what? Maybe we need to do a daily tutorial of the app and try to teach everybody how to do these things. Like, especially, they want you to do the chip counts, but then they make it like a 2 or 3 step process and don't even teach anyone how to do it. Like, how do you expect people to figure it out? But anyway, go ahead. Isaac, any last comments, words, topics to discuss?
I mean, just so we don't keep this going any further, I'll just say that I will study the app because I gotta get myself in there already. A couple friends that are there right now playing have shown me like what it can do. It's really cool that you see your seat assignment kind of like a table on Club GG. It's really cool that your payout comes through the app and all of that. So I'll navigate it. I'll see as much as I can learn today, and I'll hopefully have some more things to report tomorrow. Also, I have the stuff for the Sphere for tomorrow, and also, whenever we decide to start those, I got some casinos that we can talk about their history.
All
I,
right. I'll
I know
tell
we
you
wanted
what.
to talk about that so we can get all of that going. But besides that, thanks everybody for pulling up. It's Sunday. Go have some fun. Go be with your families. What are you doing here? I mean, I know you love poker like us because we're all degenerates. But
Hell yeah.
touch some
And we
grass.
will we will start that discussion on history of casinos tomorrow. So Isaac, we will let you get us going on those. History of some casinos. I thought that would be kind of fun to learn about this summer. And Isaac agreed to work on that for us. So appreciate you. And we'll also look forward to some info on the sphere. ASG, love you, appreciate you as always. Um, Valerie, thanks for joining us, and the Green Visor gang. All of you, Doinky, I see you down there. Exec Deck, Rather Lost, Scratcha, Tabies, D-Man. Appreciate everyone that's been here in and out this morning, listening, contributing. Thank you so much, Isaac. You too, buddy. As always, have a great day. If you're on the felt, good luck. If not, get out and touch the grass. Enjoy this Sunday, folks. Life is short, short, short. Bye.